Hello and welcome to this video on how to write a conclusion. Yes, we all should know by now what a conclusion is. Well, at least we know that it goes all the way at the end of an essay. How to write a conclusion though? Since some of you might have difficulties writing one, I'm here to help you unravel the mysteries of the conclusion. Why do we need a conclusion? We need a conclusion because we need to reiterate the arguments and thesis of the essay. In other words, it must provide a sense of closure and completeness and suggest that we have accomplished the goal of the essay. The conclusion must also offer a sense of the lingering possibilities of the topic, its larger meaning, its implications. So, what is a conclusion anyway? A conclusion is the last section in your essay. A powerful conclusion should make a link among the main points in the essay. Demonstrate why your thoughts are important and worthy of consideration. Demonstrate to your audience that you were successful in achieving your objective in authoring the essay. Leave your audience with a sense of awe, wonder, and comprehension, and bring the topic you just discussed to a close. At this point, you may still be wondering how to create a sense of closure. Well, conclude by linking the last paragraph to the first, by reiterating a word or phrase you used at the beginning, and conclude with a sentence that is compound or parallel in structure. This type of sentence can establish a sense of balance or order that may feel exactly right at the end of a complex discussion. Now, this is quite a valid question, and the answer is that in a conclusion, you must reiterate the main points. Return to your overarching argument or topic and why it matters, signaling that the essay is ending. Reiterate or confirm the thesis statement. Instead of simply repeating your thesis statement, try rephrasing or paraphrasing it in a way that proves how it has evolved since the introduction. Keep the main point in mind. Offer a summary of the main points. Try not to summarize each paragraph or repeat each point in chronological sequence. Instead, try to connect your main points in a way that makes the relationships between them obvious. This is your final opportunity to show how each part of your essay works together to form a logical whole. And include some insight. Give your reader a chance to think about the answer you offered, the ramifications of your argument or thesis statement, questions or opportunities for more research, or ways to act upon your call to action. So this is ideally what a conclusion should look like. Topic sentence that reiterates the purpose of the paper. Restatement of the thesis summarizing the main points. Concise summary of the evidence that proves the thesis. One or two main points to show this conclusion to be correct, and a final conclusive statement showing that the thesis has been proven. So how do you write an effective conclusion? Play the so what game. If you cannot move forward in your conclusion and think it has nothing fresh or fascinating, ask yourself, so what? Or why should anyone care? Consider the new choices now and answer both questions. Return to the theme or themes in the introduction. If you start by presenting a scenario, you can close by describing the same scenario to show that your essay contributes to the development of new knowledge. You can also make a reference to the keywords or concepts and visuals that are similar to those used in the introduction. Synthesize, do not summarize. Include a brief summary of the paper's main points, but do not simply repeat things that were in your paper. Instead, Show your reader how the points you made and the supports and examples you used fit together. Put it all together. Include a thought-provoking quote or insight from your study or reading for your essay. Recommend a path of action, a solution to a problem, or ideas that will lead to more research. This can help your reader reroute their thoughts and apply your information and ideas to their own lives or view the bigger picture. Just ask, where do we proceed from here? And be the one to show them or tell them about the destination. Here are some types of endings suggested by the Writing Center of the University of North Carolina. Call your reader to action. End with a warning. Evoke an image. Compare your topic to something universal to help your reader relate. Show why the issue is significant. Predict what would happen if your ideas were implemented. And end with a compelling quote. Let's take a deeper look at these types of endings. Call your reader to action. For example, by working with school administrators, Green Lawn ISD can increase academic achievement by letting students use the library during lunch. This statement encourages collaboration to bring student academic achievement to a higher level. End with a warning. You might write, if students aren't allowed to use the library during lunch, they are missing out on a valuable learning opportunity they'll never get back. This statement shows that student learning will suffer if they are prohibited from using the library as an academic resource during their lunchtime. Evoke an image. Write, next year, students at Green Lawn could be gathered around a table in the library reading or broadening their minds. This statement helps you visualize students sitting all over the library reading and or exploring different topics to increase their learning gains. Compare your topic to something universal to help your reader relate. You might write, everyone knows how stressful it is to have a planner full of assignments, so having extra time to work on them during lunch will be a great relief to many students. If you have been in this situation before, you can certainly know the meaning of the statement and understand that using the lunchtime schedule will give you an added opportunity to gather with classmates and seek their help for homework or classwork if you need it. Show why the issue is significant. Write, giving students more time to spend in the library will help them become more comfortable spending time there, which also helps the library's mission. Especially at a time in which using libraries for anything has become almost obsolete. Within this quiet environment, students can collaborate and help each other out. Predict what would happen if your ideas were implemented. Say, next year, students at Green Lawn could increase their academic achievements, but results will only happen if they can use the library during lunch. This statement clearly claims that failure to use the library during lunchtime might not increase student academics. End with a compelling quote. For instance, as author Roald Dahl once said, if you're going to get anywhere in life, you have to read a lot of books. And a powerful quote such as this one will help you close up your conclusion. So here we have the types of endings again, so you can take your pick. Call your reader to action. End with a warning. Evoke an image. Compare your topic to something universal to help your reader relate. Show why the issue is significant. Predict what would happen if your ideas were implemented. And end with a compelling quote. Here are a few things that you should have in mind and must avoid at all costs when you have to write a conclusion. Beginning with unnecessary overused phrases. Restating what has already been said. Stating the thesis for the very first time in the conclusion. Introducing a new idea or subtopic in your conclusion. Ending with a rephrased thesis statement without any substantive changes. Making sentimental, emotional appeals that are out of character with the rest of an analytical paper. Undermining your own argument or thesis. And including evidence that should have been in the body of the paper. Let's dig deeper into these things to avoid in your conclusion. Beginning with unnecessary overused phrases such as in conclusion, in summary, in closing. These phrases may be effective in speeches, but in writing they come across as stilted and cliched. They might make your writing sound unprofessional. When you return to your major point, you're making it clear that you are wrapping up the essay. Restating what has already been said. You do not need to rehash all your supporting reasons in a brief essay. It should be easy to detect whether you copied and pasted from another part of your essay. Stating the thesis for the very first time in the conclusion. Sometimes authors state the thesis for the first time in the conclusion. The reader does not expect a mystery, but an academic-style analysis of your topic with the major point or thesis provided up front. Introducing a new idea or subtopic in your conclusion. This will simply confuse your readers and detract from the strength of your arguments. If you have a really important argument to make in your conclusion, consider transferring it to one of your supporting paragraphs. Ending with a rephrased thesis statement without any substantive changes. You are expected to make changes in here. Making sentimental, emotional appeals that are out of character with the rest of an analytical paper. This type of ending often appeals to emotion, but while this feeling and even sentimentality may be extremely heartfelt, it is usually out of character with the rest of the article. Rather than enthusiastic applause, a more intellectual analysis would be a more appropriate dedication to the subject. Undermining your argument. Avoid using phrases such as, "This is just one approach among many," "There are good arguments on both sides of this issue," and "There is no clear answer to this problem." Even though your essay may have investigated a variety of viewpoints, your opinion should be obvious. Although there may be several different approaches to the topic, you want the reader to believe that yours is the best they can find. Including evidence such as quotations, statistics, etc. that should have been in the body of the paper. Any evidence or analysis needed to support your thesis statement should be included in the essay's main body. Adding random facts and evidence at the end of an otherwise well-organized essay will only confuse the reader. Let's see one more time the things to avoid while writing a conclusion. Beginning with unnecessary overused phrases. Restating what has already been said. Stating the thesis for the very first time in the conclusion. Introducing a new idea or subtopic in your conclusion. Ending with a rephrased thesis statement without any substantive changes. Making sentimental, emotional appeals that are out of character with the rest of an analytical paper. Undermining your own argument or thesis, and including evidence that should have been in the body of the paper. Here's an especially useful checklist you might want to copy somewhere to make sure your conclusion is on target. Is the thesis of the paper accurately restated here but not repeated verbatim? You must remind the reader of the paper's thesis so that they remember the arguments, solutions, or ideas you presented. Are the main points of the paper addressed and pulled together? Consider the key ideas to be jigsaw pieces and the conclusion to be the place where they all come together to form the final image. The reader should have that final image in mind. Do you remind the reader of the importance of the topic? Ensure that the paper's findings are placed in the context of actual social change. Is there a sense of closure? Ensure that the reader understands that the essay has ended. Do not mislead the reader into thinking that the paper will go on when it is actually ending. Do you avoid presenting new information? In the conclusion, no new concepts should be introduced. It is essentially a review of the material already included in the paper. The only novel idea would be to suggest a path for future studies or exploration of your topic. These are the sources consulted for this presentation. This presentation covered the ins and outs of writing an essay conclusion. Thanks for watching.